What is up, guys? It is time to do some work on the bike. What is up, guys? I am super excited to get the Sawicki exhaust installed with our ThunderMax tuner. Can't wait. Let's jump into it. First of all, we need to get this exhaust off. All right, so we've already got the bike up on the lift here, and we went ahead and put some penetrating oil on the studs, or little nuts for the studs. Because we gotta get this exhaust off, we need to get the O2s out. Since we're taking the exhaust off, we're gonna do a few things while we got that going. In this video, the plan is to install the exhaust and the tuner, because the tuner is gonna have new O2 sensors, and they're a lot easier to put on with the exhaust off. So instead of doing one thing at a time, we're gonna do them together. So we still need to take the seat off and gain access to other things, unplug the O2 sensors, all those things. But yeah, let's get to it. Wobble extensions are your friend. This is a little contraption we had to get up into the most rear bolt on the rear cylinder. The O2 sensor was almost perfectly in the way, but we're able to get up in there and get it. Hopefully the Sawicki exhaust is going to have it positioned just a little bit further down or a little bit more of an angle. We'll see once we go to put it on, but that was a bit of a pain in the butt, and I had to go and use a bunch of extensions, but we got it. Now we just gotta take it off. Oh, how the plot thickens. So we're trying to take the exhaust off, and I was trying to find the wires for the O2 sensors to pull everything out, and I couldn't find it. So we got our O2 sensor still attached there, and this wire was coming back here, and I couldn't pull it. I couldn't find anything up here. I did find some, where was it? This, that did not look correct. And I was like, that's a little strange. But I could not find a connected wire up here that would attach to this. So I decided, screw it. We're gonna take the battery out. We took the battery box off so I could get to it. And I come back here and find an O2 sensor just not plugged into anything. It was tucked in behind the starter. So yeah, don't know what that is all about, but okay. So we're gonna have to figure out why our O2 sensor is not hooked up. And I wonder if the front is even hooked up. We need to investigate that. They did not have a check engine light. I'm wondering if this thing has been, it had a like FP5, let me get it. Sorry, it had a FP4 little piggyback fuel pack on there, little piggyback unit for the ECU. I wonder if it got tuned for like a closed loop, and it was basically just running off that and didn't have any type of real enrichment or anything. I don't know. Let's mess with the front and see what we can find. So yeah, here's the front. It's the front O2 sensor, and it's not plugged up to anything. We have another wire that I'm gonna assume is jumpered like that, and nothing's plugged up. All right, exhaust is officially off. That took a little bit more work than I expected. The O2 sensor was a bit of a find. Hopefully there isn't a major problem with our bike.
Yeah.
We're going to be switching out the ECU and the oxygen sensors. So hopefully the wiring from the oxygen sensor plugs to the rest of the ECU is fine. I don't know why this was done. I don't know if there's any motor work in this thing. Maybe we should crack it open. I'm not sure. Yeah, it doesn't really matter at this point, but because we're not going to be putting anything back in it right now. But just strange, strange. But that's how she looks right now. Pretty empty in there. I'm going to leave the battery and battery box out just to make it easier in the future. But I may have to throw everything back in before. We're definitely going to have to throw everything back in before we do the ECU setup, but we got more work to do. All right, real quick, we decided to weigh the exhaust. Now I had to put it on this box because it's so long, it wasn't getting everything on the scale. So what we're going to do, now that everything's on there, we're going to take everything off, put the box back on, and subtract what we get. We got to wake the scale back up. So we're at 37.6 pounds. That's all complete. So what we're going to do is take this stuff off, and just to make sure just to verify. All right, 16.2. So it's probably not super accurate because I got to kind of pick weight up and put it on there. I don't have a scale that's going to work just for that. But that's about 21 pounds. So we're just going to chalk it up as 21 pounds. There's a little discrepancy there, is what it is. But we're going to weigh the new exhaust before we put it on and see what the difference is. I can guarantee you it's going to be less than that. But this is where we're going to leave it for tonight. Obviously, you're going to keep watching and you're going to see what's going on. But for me tonight, this is where we're going to end it for two reasons. One, that rear master cover is disgusting. If you saw our brake fluid episode, then you know how bad it is. It's going to be way easier to get to that. I don't know how the new exhaust is going to be, but it's probably going to be in the way of that. So I'm going to leave it off, order me one because I kind of forgot about it. And we're going to replace that before we put everything back on. Also, it should be showing up today or tomorrow. We're getting new control set up, pegs, brake arm, all these different things. And again, having the exhaust off, we're going to be able to do that. So we're going to kind of shoot another episode while we're in this state. But keep watching because we're going to get right back to the exhaust right now. Guys, you may not know this, but it's been exactly a month since we started this video, and my voice is not quite there. We've had a lot go on, trying to get this exhaust done. We finally have the exhaust right here, which we've had the entire time. But let me go through some stuff of why it's taken so long. Speaking's gonna be tough. We're gonna try to get through this. So first off, we disassembled basically the bike. Let me show you. So we did take the exhaust off, and when we did that, I knew that that was going to be the best time to go ahead and change out everything here. Change out the brake arm, the shifter arm, all that kind of stuff, but mainly the mounts and the brake arm. The exhaust had to be off. So once we had the exhaust off, I was like, let's go ahead and get that done. And since we got that done, it took a little bit because my powder coater got sick. And then I was like, okay, let's go ahead and do the handlebars. So we did the handlebars while we were waiting on powder coat. We got the powder coat back. We did that. We got all that finished up. And instead of jumping on the exhaust, I was like, well, let me do the rear suspension because that shouldn't take long. And it didn't. But we got to get the front suspension done. And since we're raising the front up 2 inches,
I didn't want to have the back stock, so I figured let's throw the front or rear suspension on real quick. We'll get that done a lot faster. Dang guys, look at that. It's snowing pretty good out there. All right, so it took us a few weeks to get all that done, going back and forth, get the powder coat, put everything back together. Of course, working a full-time job and getting ready for Christmas. Well, I had to work the 27th, which was 2 days after Christmas, and I was hoping to get this done that weekend. It is now the 3rd. I've been sick since the 27th. Still sick. I had a fever for like 5 days, and I was stuck in the bed. Actually sleeping on the couch because I was coughing so bad. Let the wife, not have to deal with that. She slept in the bed. I slept in the living room on the couch for like 5 days, probably more than that. But I still have a bit of a cough. My voice isn't quite there. I'm going back to work tomorrow. So I figured I'm gonna try and work on the bike a little bit. Don't know what we're gonna get done, but I gotta get my body back to kind of doing things. So we're gonna try to work on this. I went to check the SD cards, looking at video to figure out which SD card had the exhaust video on it. And I looked at the date, and it's a month to the day that we started this. That is insane. Now, in the original video, I did say that we were going to do the exhaust and the tuner, but we're not going to do that now for the main reason, 2 reasons. One, when we took this exhaust off, we found out that either ECU's flashed or something, it's bypassing the fact that it has O2 sensors, and that's fine. So what we're going to do is we're going to use the Thunder Max O2s on this exhaust, but we're just going to put them in there and not hook them up. For the second reason being, we had to do a lot of wiring and stuff for the handlebars, and I just don't want to introduce so many problems that this bike's been apart for a month, because we're getting up behind the 8 ball here. Got to get this bike finished. So I want to try to make it smooth and easy. I had talked to my buddy about taking this bike over to his house, before this weekend, to get the chain kit and other things done, and that just didn't happen because I got laid up. So we got to get this going. We got to get it smooth. So we're just going to put the O2s in. Obviously, it didn't need them, so we'll put the bike together, and then we'll check everything, make sure everything's good, and then we'll just install the ECU at a different time. Also, I don't really have the voice or brain power to try and talk through that anyways, so we're going to shelve that and just get the exhaust on. So it's a little bit of an update that you guys might not have been expecting, although the other videos should come out before this one. So if you're clicking on this series for the first time, for this video, maybe you'll be a little bit surprised. But if you've been watching the Dyna Build series, you'll know why we are where we are. And I appreciate you comment down below if this is your first video or you've been following the series for a little bit. We're going to try to get this finished. We have a show February 1st, and it is January 3rd. I know that doesn't sound like, it's a big problem, but, there's still life in the middle of all that. We got to still completely redo the front end, get a fairing on it, and then disassemble everything for paint, then reassemble everything and get it going. So, yeah, let's get to work. All right, there it is. The Sawicki RT exhaust. I've already taken a lot of the pack material out, but basically all it is, 2 head pipes, our muffler here, and with the RT, and then a box full of hardware. They did include the proper exhaust gaskets that we need. We do have to reuse our flanges, so I'm going to need to take them off of other exhausts. I didn't yet. Some exhausts come with them, some don't. Most don't. They did include a little puller tool here for the springs. That's awesome. And then here, right there. And then what looks to be some of their Loctite. So let's get going. Old gasket's out, new one's going in. All right, so we got the hardware off, little flanges and clips from the old exhaust. Now, we'll start putting on the new exhaust. All right, look at it. Exhaust is installed. I don't think I got the muffler part, just because I think something happened and I kept going and forgot about the GoPro. Again, still kind of a little sick, so brain's a little fuzzy here, but pretty sure we got everything put back together. So let me just kind of explain what we did. Basically, both pipes, we have the ThunderMax O2 sensors in there. The ThunderMax O2 sensors already had some anti-seize on the threads, so that was nice. We got both head pipes installed. We had them loose, come down here. We got the muffler on. We installed the bottom bracket and kept all the bolts here loose. We actually do need to come back and tighten these. We need to put some Loctite on these two bolts right here, tighten them up, and they should be good. Did get a bloody hand, but we kind of tightened these 4 bolts up here back and forth, kept the muffler loose, and then once we got everything kind of aligned where it felt good, then we tightened down the bracket for the muffler here, leaving this part loose, letting the bracket move however it needed to get to where it needed to be on the muffler. Once we got all that done, like I said, now we need to tighten that up. It looks pretty good. We put the battery and a bucket back in there, went ahead and cut the ignition on, made sure all my lights worked. Everything seems to work fine. Pretty sure it'll start. We don't have turn signals anymore, which is fine, but it's when the headlight high beam works, horn works, the indicator for the lights work, so that's good. But yeah, exhaust is pretty much installed. It did take a little bit to get all this fitted in. It does have these tension springs. Sawicki does include a little pull for that, which is nice. A special tool. But I think this exhaust is going to be great. I'll start it up in here for a minute, just for a couple seconds. I don't think it's going to do justice on this camera, especially in the garage, but I only want to have it on for a couple seconds because we haven't cleaned the exhaust up yet. So we don't want to burn any of our fingerprints in there, and I don't think I have what I need to clean that with. I will check first, see if we can clean the pipe up, but if not, we can only have the bike on for like 2 seconds. All right, we did clean up the exhaust with a degreaser. I think that'll be fine, but we still have a bunch of tools and stuff all over the toolbox or the lift here, so we're only going to turn it on just for a second, see what it sounds like. So yeah, the exhaust sounds pretty good. It wasn't that bad to install at all. So we took the extra steps to go ahead and route O2 sensors for the ECU that we're going to do in the future. Didn't feel like tackling that today. We need to get this over to my buddy's house as soon as possible and get working on some other stuff. And winter has set in. As you saw earlier, it was snowing, so the chance of riding over there is probably pretty slim. I'll have to trailer it over there. He only lives a few miles away. I might ride it if I can. But we need to button up a lot of things that we have kind of done. I left some of the wiring out for the bike with the handlebars when we did that. We need to pull that back through. I left most of that out just in case. bike didn't fire up or one of the wires wasn't quite right. It does appear that the battery in my key fob or whatever is going bad, or I don't know if that's a transponder or what that is. Looks like you can take that apart. I'm guessing there's a battery in there. That probably needs to be replaced. And yeah, I mean, I think it sounds great. It's kind of hard to tell with it, you know, just kind of quick like that. But I think it sounds pretty good. Hopefully we got it cleaned up good enough so the exhaust doesn't look like crap. We'll probably wipe it down one more time before we start it up and run it and do like some heat cycles. But yeah, we got to get everything put back together. Tank's got to get put back together. We need to figure out something with this handlebar light fixture thing. I think I actually found something for that, but we'll have to do that. But yeah, everything's looking pretty good. Comment down below how you think this sounds. It took an entire month to get this done just because of things getting in the way. But I think it looks pretty killer. I'm excited about it. I think it sounds great. I can't wait to maybe down the road, you know, do some motor work and really make this exhaust sing like it should. You know, like we got it on a stock 96, which is a little sad, but that's okay. They still need to sound good. So we won't get that done for Daytona, of course. We do need to fill the transmission back up. Had a bit of a mishap while we were taking some things apart, and we drained some of the we lost some of the transmission fluid. So we need to go ahead and drain it all, fill it back up. I don't think it's completely empty, but I know it's not completely full. So might as well just do a full change. I did get a full oil change to do for this. I'm not super worried about all of it, but I know the transmission's got to get done. The primary is going to get done when we do some other things, but I don't want to ramble too much. This is an exhaust video. I wish it was a little bit more, you know, intuitive than it was, but spanning it that far amount of time can definitely be tricky, and that's what happens. Life happens. So let me know what you think. This is the Sawicki RT exhaust. I'll put a link down in the description if you want to pick one of these up. I think it's killer. We'll definitely do some more soundbite videos and stuff like that in the future. That way, if you're really interested in knowing more about it, I'll do a full review in the future, and we'll do a soundbite kind of review for it also. That way you can really hear it and learn a little bit more about it and just a quick little install. But I didn't really have any issues at all installing it. I thought it was a great little kit. So it's the first time I've had a Sawicki exhaust. I've been looking at them for a long time, wanted to get one. So pretty happy about it. I wish this 02 was a little bit pulled down, but that's not the factory 02, so they're a lot longer than what the factory one is. I wish it was tweaked just a little bit or pulled out just a little bit, but that's okay. It fits. A lot of aftermarket exhausts don't fit the best with Thundermax ECU plugs, just because they're not the stock length and they don't, you know, two aftermarkets on a factory bike, sometimes that stuff doesn't mix well. And that was a known issue that we possibly could have had. So I think it'll run like that. So good enough for me. That's not that bad. If it becomes a problem, we can worry about it in the future. But for right now, we can get this thing buttoned up and on to the next. So if you don't mind, hit that like button. Subscribe if you're not subscribed. Hope you enjoyed this video. And as always, keep it wretched.